It's my turn now. I'll need everyone to evade the space. Sorry, buddy. Look how comfy he looks too. This last week or so, I've been working on this bag that's just been taking so long, man. I've been hand stitching the entire thing. Another layered borrow design. I'm going for like a really distressed look. Very time consuming to layer all these pieces together, hand stitch, distress, repair the distress. It's a whole process and I'll talk about that later. I've been reflecting a lot lately about honestly everything, every little detail of my life. So I used to make YouTube videos 5 to 6 years ago. My whole interest and sort of content was surrounded around the clothes that I like, a few vlogs, a few like reviews, that sort of thing. And I guess ultimately I just stopped making videos. Still had my great interest in fashion, but I just didn't really have the sort of, I guess, opportunity or lifestyle to support my interest. And I did have an interest in upcycling. Started like anybody else starts, with a home sewing machine, trying to sew straight lines with one bit of fabric, calculating the length, doing measurements, cutting out patterns. I was just messing around. And my first pair of pants that I made, I think they're archived on my Instagram now, but there'll be a picture here somewhere. I got good enough at upcycling, you know, understanding the basics, making pants, doing patchwork, and just sort of learning how everything worked. Sold a few things, I did a few commissions. It was just cool to sort of try something new, feel good enough at it to like share it with the world, that type of thing. It was something that I was a bit more quiet on for the years to follow, I would say up until last year, 2024. I was still making things throughout this time, not with any sense of urgency. You know, I guess at that point, I knew it was just something that I could do. Some weird internal feeling was saying, you know, you've got to do something. When I first picked up YouTube again, I actually wanted to abandon my complete identity. I didn't want to be interested in clothes anymore. I need to rebrand and just become someone else. I made this video of me playing this game and yeah, it was very cringe. I kind of feel embarrassed even talking about it. I mean, come on, dude, what was I thinking? Just a desperate attempt to sort of abandon ship and pick up in another space where I didn't fit in, because I was convinced that, you know, I didn't fit in the space that I was already in. So I'm revisiting upcycling, revisiting painting, and that's where I came back and I started showing my craft. The main thing that I was focused on was just becoming comfortable in doing it again. So far, you know, I'm definitely enjoying creating content. I just also feel like I can do it better. And I can improve the content for you if I can be a little bit more human instead of just being a process channel. I'm not trying to do all that. Let me show you what I'm actually working on here. You know, I've really put my focus into practicing borrow. So this will be one side of the bag, and this is a cargo pocket. I've had to hand stitch the pocket flap, all of these layers, some underneath, some on top. This is a completed panel, or at least mostly completed. I have the entire timeline of the process. Let me show you. I've got this panel with a cargo pocket on it, then just a few scraps layered. This is quite a thin cotton, so I thought it'd be perfect for this borrow design because I could put material underneath it, over the top of it, heavyweight materials like this canvas or denim, anything like that. This is a really good example of just layering fabrics together and using sashiko to sort of combine them into one fabric. After hand stitching, it's time for the distressing. Just distress as much as I can without compromising the integrity of the fabric. Spend like 20 minutes on it, you get more distressed texture. Then I can also repair any holes I've made throughout the piece. And this is the texture I'm sort of creating at the finish. So I have a lot of work cut out for me. I'm always losing my needle, man. I'm always losing this shit. Oh, here it is. few days have passed and I'm still here working on this bag. After the last round of distressing, I spent several hours repairing any stitches that I've broken or repairing any holes that I've made through the fabric. I've got a few panels completed. They're hand stitched, distressed, and then repaired. This gray sort of canvas material that came from Carhartt carpenter pants. So I'm using the pocket from those shorts. I'll put it on one side of the bag. Hit that logo with the Dremel too. Every inch of this will be distressed. I've still got the other side to do, and the bag strap as well, I'm yet to distress. The fun part is actually pulling the threads out. I'm not even being sarcastic. This should be posted on Reddit. It's oddly satisfying. I'll be here for the next few hours repairing this. So I'm gonna just keep yapping until someone tells me to stop. Give you more of that Christoph lore. So I've told you about my recent history, and let's delve a little deeper. Let's take this way back when I was 14 years old. I'm just a kid at this time. I had no interest in literally anything outside video games. And this is also when I got my first job in a fashion retail store. I had no interest in clothes. I literally just needed a job. That was the first job I got. This is quite a pivotal moment for me. You know, it was the first time I had ever seen like a t-shirt that cost $40 or $60. This whole time I'm really defining my tastes, you know, what brands I liked, what brands my friends liked. Kind of just fall into a category of brands that, you know, suit your vibe, suit your aesthetic. I spent close to 5 years thinking that this was top tier fashion and this is the best that I could get. Little did I know. So let's skip ahead to 2015. Things are different now, you know, I'm living out of home. It was at this time I needed a full-time job to just support myself, just live and get by week to week. So I found one in like an office environment. You know, I was charity fundraising and I was earning more expendable income than I had ever had in my entire life. It was at this point where fashion just wasn't really a priority. Everybody was wearing the same thing. I couldn't find a form of, I guess, self-expression through the clothes that I wore. But I also turned 18, which means I could start getting tattoos. Having a lot of expendable income, I just got tattoo after tattoo after tattoo. At this time, I actually wanted to become a tattoo artist, and I put like everything I could into, you know, pursuing this dream, going into work every day, sketching up tattoo designs, going home that night, painting them. That was my life for like probably 2 solid years. I was working on tattoo commissions for people. You know, my friends were getting my designs tattooed. I even collaborated with like some low-key streetwear brand in the UK. All of these things sort of happened where I was convinced that, you know, this is gonna be my pursuit. I was looking everywhere for an apprenticeship. I was calling up stores, I was sending emails, showing my portfolio. I was offered 2 apprenticeships in that time and I rejected them both. So I'll reiterate that I was working full-time to sort of support myself. You know, I had rent to pay. I needed the money to survive, really. The first shop offered me to be in the studio for 4 days a week, unpaid, and that'll sort of be like my next year or 2. Very typical, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. So I was looking for a better deal, a better opportunity to sort of break into this where I wasn't, you know, making myself homeless at the same time. I got offered another apprenticeship. They offered me 5 days a week in the studio for $200 a week. That didn't even cover my rent at the time. So I just like literally couldn't do it. I remember the guy even saying something like, a lot of people live at home with their families and, you know, they don't really need to earn money. That's how these apprentices, you know, begin. They just don't need the money. This was devastating to me because I couldn't see myself doing the thing that like I love so much simply because I just didn't have I don't know, the same opportunities. 2 years later, 2017, I was so over this fundraising job. It was just sucking every bit of my soul. I found myself in a bit of an easier living situation. So I found another job in another fashion retail space. This was a step up in fashion retail from my first job. You know, the aesthetic was completely different. And it was working here that I guess helped me open up to more creative ways of just getting dressed, trying new aesthetics that I couldn't see myself in prior to that. You know, personal presentation and expression started to become a lot more important to me. It was kind of like the catalyst to what inspired me further. One day on a lunch break, I was just walking around the city, you know, killing time. I came across this store wafting the refined aroma of Kumba Japanese incense. No word of a lie, I levitated in there like I was in a cartoon smelling a tasty pie. So I wander in up these sketchy ass stairs presented with a glass door at the end, one word across the front of it. It says apartment. Walking in there, man, I felt so incredibly out of my comfort zone. Brands I've never even heard of litter every shelf. The sweet smell of that Japanese incense just doing things to my nostrils. This was a whole different world to anything I was familiar with. Comme des Garçons, Kenzo, Neighborhood, Dub Tap, Stone Island. I mean, you name it, they had it. This was my first time seeing any of this stuff. So I was completely unaware of like the price, the quality, what I was even looking at. What I did notice was the physical difference in quality for the clothes that I was repping and selling. I was way out of my zone, man. I didn't think I was ever gonna come back to this store. And I started chatting with one of the employees, shout out to Nick. Just something about the calming mannerism and tone that they approached me with. I don't even know, it just helped me sort of feel more comfortable in that space. And I felt comfortable sort of being honest and saying that I don't know, I'm not familiar with any of this. It kept me going back to that store. It kept me sort of interested in fashion, knowing that that was just like a whole nother layer that I was not even exposed to. That's what started me off looking into sort of other brands, other designer brands specifically. That's sort of when I got the idea to start a YouTube channel and share the clothes that I like, because there were so many brands out there that I was just like, I was unaware of completely. This is well before TikTok was even idolized, so there was no content for fashion and outfit inspiration, that type of thing. I've never been able to drop that infatuation with like good quality, long lasting and re-wearable clothes. So that really brings us to the recent history, you know, explained at the start of the video. Man, I honestly cannot get this. I don't know what the fuck. Hi Sterling, how you doing? Upcycling right now is great fun. You know, I get a lot of satisfaction out of just making something with my hands. I can definitely see myself continuing this practice for years and years to come. But the main goal here is to eventuate into designing and manufacturing. I consider upcycling as like design practice, just learning what works and what looks good for myself before I pursue manufacturing. Everything I've shared on this channel so far is just a glimpse of the vision that I'm trying to piece together. I think that's where we're going to wrap it up today. I don't really have anything else to talk about, and I'm going to be here stitching this for, honestly, I've got like several days left. If you found this at all interesting, I'll need you to go ahead and hit the like button. If you do want to see more on this bag, it will 100% be finished by the next video, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out. Bless you if you have sneezed even once throughout this video, and I'll see you soon.